Hey y'all, hey folks, what's going on? Got a little dehydrated, so it took a little longer before I can get to this next one for my, single use. I recycle, so single use, water bottle. I really don't give a fuck if anybody hates it, whatever. I don't give a shit. But I recycle, so repurpose things. I just bought there's a lot of projects I do. I smelt metal because I've got my foundries to do castings of things for business. Let me see. There's a couple of other things I'm getting into. So as I said, metalworking. I'm going to end up doing bladesmithing and everything here soon. I still need to get my forge. May just do kind of like knives, blades like that. I don't think I'm going to do full swords. Huge fan of Forged in Fire. Huge fan. So I'll probably just do more or less just along knives. I collect blades anyway. I collect swords, blades, and anyway. So there's a lot of projects I'm going to get into. But yeah. I mean,
bringing it up again is because
men and women, I love Daisy Cousins. Ooh, that woman is just beautiful. But men and women are different, and feminists should get over it. And of course, my video, men and women, but I love Daisy. Beautiful woman. Love her. Straightforward, truth teller. This was 3 weeks ago. People really should just, seriously, I don't understand how people can live life and refuse to live in the real world. I don't understand it. I can't wrap my mind around it. As I said in the previous video, I'm a nerd, I'm a geek, I'm a gamer, I play fantasy games, and yet I live in the real world. Know that real shit happens. First off, of course, like and share. But yet these people, these fucking leftists, I don't know how they can live with themselves. Obviously, they don't want to live in the real world. They want to live in a world where it's like all fantasy and rainbows but it's not real. It will never happen. It will never come to pass. That world, that fake world that these dumbass leftists want will never happen. I don't know how they can. Seriously, we need to create and legalize suicide booths. I think it would take care of the population. It would take care of that. It would take care of the economy. It would fix so many things. Again, people that want real solutions, I have the most real solution that I know others have said it, and I keep saying it in a lot of my videos, and I'm going to keep on saying it. Create and legalize suicide. Create fucking suicide booths. Put those bitches with every damn fucking convenience store is and shit. Put them like a fucking Red Box and shit. Outside your Walmart and everything. I mean, Walmart, Albertsons, fucking 7-Elevens and shit. Just seriously, it would take care of the climate. It would take care of population. It'll take care of jobs because we'll have more jobs. Seriously, we create and legalize suicide and create suicide booths. It would take care of so many issues because millions of people, all these broken fucking people, would be committing suicide left and right, and we will fix so many issues inside of 6 months. Just 6 months. We will fix so many issues in our world.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. So, as I mentioned in my last video, November 19th was International Men's Day, a day to celebrate the achievements of men and raise awareness for issues that disproportionately affect them.
Yep.
Now, the reason I'm bringing it up again is because on that day, I noticed something very encouraging. International Men's Day over the last couple of years has been treated with, at best, ridicule and at worst, outright malice and hostility. Feminists were very keen to depict it as a stupid day designed to be anti-women, because why should men have their own day when they are the nasty, evil, oppressive class, blah, 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 blah. Also, nobody really seemed to know about it in previous years, whereas everyone knows about International Women's Day, of course. However, this year the tone was very, very different. There was significantly less hostility and spite coming from feminists, and also there seemed to be more official recognition of the day. Twitter even had a moment dedicated to the day, which is highly irregular behavior for the hyper left-wing juggernaut that is big tech. And the hashtag was full of positive comments about men and masculinity. People all over the world were thanking all the good blokes in their lives for the work they do and the sacrifices they make. Still no Google Doodle, but hopefully soon. Now, as someone who focuses quite heavily on modern feminist dogma and the anti-male narrative they spin, I am absolutely thrilled by this change in tone. It's much nicer for everyone and proves we are making some sort of progress in shifting the public discussion. Very cool. But be warned, there were definitely a few feminists out there who tried to hijack the day and use it as an excuse to dunk on men and masculinity, but all under the guise of caring about men. It takes courage and character to hang on to your humanity when the qualities society rewards in men and boys boil down to being a bully. Choosing to question toxic masculinity with no roadmap, knowing that you won't be rewarded for it, is brave. Happy International Men's Day to the small handful of good men I'm lucky enough to know who don't whinge about International Women's Day, understand the ways patriarchy F's us all, and reject the fallacy of conventional masculinity in favor of kindness, compassion, and communication. Happy International Men's Day. Shout out to the men who are doing their best to dismantle the patriarchy that oppresses them. That's quite a turnaround from Clementine's offering last year. So, to all the feminists who are cunningly pulling this dirty trick, be aware, we're on to you.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Anyway, International Men's Day is also a good opportunity to celebrate the differences between men and women. Because, make no mistake, men and women are very different, both physically and emotionally, with, some overlap, of course. Now, there is a school of feminist thought that insists that all the differences between men and women are socialized, that human beings are blank slates ready to be scribbled on, and thus subject to a rigid gender binary which influences the different ways men and women think and act. This thinking is, of course, totally at odds with the science. There are decades worth of research to indicate that sex differences between men and women are largely to do with biology and evolution. See the video description for a full list of sources, but just for one example, let's look at sex writer and sexual neuroscience Deborah So's commentary in The Australian, where she states that the idea that our brains are identical sounds lovely, but the scientific evidence suggests otherwise. She asserts that many studies have documented the masculinizing effects of testosterone prenatally on the developing brain, and a recent study in the journal Nature's Scientific Reports from UCLA shows that testosterone exposure alters the programming of neural stem cells responsible for brain growth and sex differences. Gender feminists often point to a single study published in 2015 that claimed it wasn't possible to tell apart male and female brains. But when a group of researchers in the US reanalyzed the underlying data, they found that brains could be correctly identified as female or male with 69% to 77% accuracy. In another study from Yale University, published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, researchers used a larger sample in conjunction with higher resolution neuroimaging and were able successfully to classify a brain by its sex 93% of the time. The thing is, even if male and female brains were identical structurally, this would fail to say anything about differences in brain functionality. Anyone with a very basic knowledge of human biology can conclude that hormones like testosterone and oxytocin affect the way men and women behave. To put it in a very rudimentary way, men produce more testosterone than women and are, of course, physically stronger, so of course they are more likely to act in a physical or aggressive way when presented with certain stimuli.
Want a piece of this? Anytime, Zeke. How about right now, Stubby?
Fine. It also makes them more assertive in their day-to-day interactions and is often pinned as one of the reasons for the gender pay gap, since the natural assertiveness of men makes them better at negotiating raises and salaries. Women, on the other hand, produce more oxytocin, which is the cuddle or love hormone, and less testosterone. This higher level of oxytocin makes them more prone to nurturing, hence the fact oxytocin is sneakily released during breastfeeding and childbirth. It also makes them more drawn to monogamous long-term relationships than men are, and given their lower levels of testosterone, less likely to engage in aggressive behavior. With some overlap, of course, there is always overlap. In addition, women are subject to a monthly hormonal loop known as the menstrual cycle, which is proven to affect women's moods, hence the perception that women are more outwardly emotional than men. We are.
I really need you more than you need me.
That's okay.
No, it's not. It isn't fair.
And we have license to be, since we do not face the societal pressure that men face to bottle up their emotions and be tough when there is a crisis. That is one social pressure that absolutely does exist, and it is very, very toxic. So, long story short, while you do get some masculine women and some feminine men, generally the differences between men and women are pretty straightforward and are largely inherent rather than socialized. The reason gender feminists are so keen to ignore this is because deep down they believe that femininity is inferior to masculinity. So, in order for women to be taken seriously, they believe that women should act more like, well, men. It's a strange sort of self-loathing, isn't it, that feminists who claim to be pro all things female dislike the very essence of femaleness, that is, femininity. But let's be real, though, they're not known for their consistency of thought. The other reason gender feminists resist the scientific fact that men and women are inherently different is because they believe that admitting this will somehow justify what they call gender inequality. That is, the fact that men and women on average make different choices for their own happiness, which leads to different career paths and subsequently different incomes on average. Now, remember, when the regressive left talks about equality, they don't actually mean equality. They mean equity, which is equality of outcome. True equality is equality of opportunity, which is what conservatives believe in, of course. So, in other words, feminists would prefer a totally homogenous society where men and women lead identical lives, or, in the case of the more misandrist feminist, a society where women hold most of the high-flying positions and men are denied opportunities on the basis of their gender. Not very nice. Anyway, what feminists either don't realize or just won't admit is that the inherent differences between men and women are what makes society tick, because they complement each other. They always have. Right back to the caveman days when men went out hunting animals and women stayed in the cave to nurture their offspring and protect them from the lions outside.
I'm home!
And while sure, maintaining rigid gender roles should never be compulsory, a bit of overlap is ideal in maintaining healthy relationships and family life. There's nothing wrong with embracing how men and women fit together. It's the yin and the yang. Now, that's not to say that women shouldn't pursue high-flying careers and men shouldn't stay home with the kids. Like, gosh, no, do whatever works for you. But there is a reason that, on average, men and women tend to gravitate towards the modern-day equivalent of those hunter-gatherer versus nurturer roles of thousands of years ago. And nowadays, a time when men and women in the West do have equal rights and equal opportunities, it has much less to do with cultural pressure than it used to. So, in the spirit of celebrating the differences between men and women, here are 3 things I love about men that are, for the most part, at least in my experience, reasonably unique to men. They're not particularly groundbreaking, but to me they are meaningful and make up a small but significant part of why I appreciate all the men in my life so much. 1. Opening jars.
That's more like it!
This might seem simple and stupid and cliched beyond belief, but it's true. As someone who grew up during Irish dancing, I have pretty much zero upper body strength. It just never developed. And I'm not fond of doing weights. There is nothing more frustrating than wanting to open that new jar of strawberry jam and dig into it over breakfast and being denied that sugary goodness because of my lack of strength. So you can imagine my relief and joy when I can call a man to my aid, who, by virtue of his superior physical form, even if he doesn't work out, can open it for me. It's a little.
Okay, I love Daisy. I do. But, you know, my grandma was a really strong woman, very strong woman. But why make things more difficult? You run the jar under hot water. You can grab a butter knife and use the handle to, and then boop, pops open. See, simple as that. Work. I mean, considering we had to open jars as kids, you know, we were boys, but we were kids. So we had to learn how to open the jar ourselves. We couldn't run to grandma or Mr. Paul, who was, you know, my grandma's boyfriend, whatever he was, you know, my only grandfather I knew. Yeah, we couldn't run to them. I mean, being on the farm, it was do it yourself. So basically, as I said, you run it under hot water, grab that little butter knife with the handle and hit the top of it sideways, and then you twist it off, boom, you're done. So women, y'all really don't know how to do that? I mean, so that's cool, Daisy. You love men, great. That's awesome. But that was kind of a dumb comment. You know, work smarter, not harder. But then you're young, so you young people probably, you know, rely so much more on technology than smarts. But yeah, men and women are just different. Period. That's you are going to have those rare women like my mom, like my grandma. You're going to have those rare women who are strong mentally, physically, emotionally. You know, then you're going to have those men who are just weak. You are going to have those men who are, you know, your Sheldon, your Raj, your Leonard, who are just, you know, all nasally, and I can't open a jar, you know. You're gonna have that. So men and women are different, but just like just let's just take men. All men are not created equal. That's why we have 100-pound weakling fucking soy boys and shit, if they even weigh 100 pounds. I'm sorry, but that's what we have. We have weak men. Just like you have some of your women who are stronger than your average women. No, people are not created equal, period. It's just, I don't know what it is about this gay, lesbian, LGBTQ, whatever alphabet fucking people that wanted that in fifth wave now, feminist and shit, that want to just try and this whole falsehood of everybody being equal. I'm sorry, most men are not over 6 feet and over 250, you know, like me. Strong, can kick your fuck. Most men are not that. Most men, average height is what? For men, like 5'8", 5'10". Most women, average is what, 5'6", 5'5", you know? But we're all not created equal. It's just a simple fact. In nature, that's why you have to, in nature, you have to fight for a mate. The females want a good, strong, to carry on the bloodline male, to carry on the bloodline. And then, of course, you have the males, you know, rutting and fighting and bucking and all this other shit to get the females. Nature knows the best of the best, survival of the fittest. Humans are the only ones that fuck up nature, that just completely just fuck it all up. Oh, Jesus. Seriously. We need to just go back to the way things are supposed to be. I don't care who wants to marry who wants to date who. I don't really give a fuck about that. But biology, just stay out of that. Stay out of science, because you fuckers are not bringing up science. You're just bringing up what you want. You can't change nature because you want something. I want to be, you know, equal to men. well, you only are 5'5", or you're only 5 foot nothing, 110 pounds. I'm just curious, but what men are you talking about that you want to be equal to men? I'm trying to understand that. Anyway, I don't need to hear the rest of her points, but yeah, it just seriously, I do love Daisy because she points out a lot of really cool stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the next one. I'll go ahead and stop this video and get into the next one. Make sure my political, I didn't uncheck that.
Things in life that make the biggest
As I said,
differences.
trying to clear out my political folder as best as I can. So I don't know if I want to do that one. Joe Biden's insane comments about black kids and roaches. That man's just a complete dumbass. He's senile. He's just a complete dumbass. But let me see if I can get into something else because I still want to keep my, I guess I can get into this one really quick because Adam ruined. Oh my God, that Adam, whatever his fuck, he's a total tool.
Conditioning from the age of 7 years old, right?
Okay, so let's get into this real quick. My boy Sinatra says.
One of my favorite things to do on this channel has always been to shit on Adam Conover.
Adam Conover.
Or Adam Ruins Everything. You can see it's a few of my top viewed videos is me to.
The reason why I'll go into this video with it is because of the fact that it kind of deals along the same lines of the differences between men and women.
Blatant lies. But what I think my new favorite thing about Adam is the fact that he can't do anything without his writers or without a script in front of him. Let's take a look at his shameful display on the Joe Rogan podcast.
As far as trans athletes go, we could sit here and talk for 3 hours about all the different ways that hormones might affect your body, might not affect your body, and I'm not an expert on that. I don't want to claim to be, right?
Now,
here's the thing. See, now he's talking about additives, those kind of hormones. When we know for a fact hormones do affect things because that's how you have testosterone and estrogen and men and women, big strong men, little woman. So we know hormones. Just in biology, we know hormones fuck shit up or change shit or determine shit. Well, I don't claim to be an expert. Are you not a man? Are you not a living human being? So therefore, you are an expert. You are a man. Do you think you're stronger than your majority of your average women? Yeah, more than likely you are, dumbass. Just because he's gay, but just because you're gay, does it all of a sudden mean you're just as weak as a woman? That you're not a man? That you're not still average wise stronger than as an average man? Do you think that you're less, that you're weaker than your average woman? No, you're stronger than your average woman. So therefore, biology, hormones do work. So, I really don't understand how these fucking people can live in a fantasy world. Just
correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't his show Adam Ruins Everything? So that name by itself kind of implies that he is an expert on everything, but he doesn't have a script, therefore he doesn't know anything. But if that's the case, how do you plan on talking for 3 hours about it? You're just dumb.
Trans athletes who are, competing with with their gender, right? That is a sporting world that I'm more interested in, right? And I think we should find a way to make that happen. I know it's going to be really complicated and messy, right? And there's going to be a lot of debate about it, and it's going to be a.
How is it complicated and messy? I'm trying to understand that. How is it complicated and messy? When it comes to trans women, they are setting records, breaking records. Yet trans men aren't doing the same thing. I wonder why. Wonder why that is. Because you're a woman transitioning into a man in an elite sport. You are not going to beat elite men in that sport. Ain't going to work. Sorry. So I love how they say, well, see, look, trans women, look, it's all fair. It's all fair. It ain't fair because they're fucking men. They are men. But funny how it never goes the opposite way. You notice that? It never goes the opposite way.
Comfortable, there's gonna be a lot of arguments, but I hope that that's the world that we move forward to. That's my point of view.
It's not going to be complicated and messy. Men should compete with men, women should compete with women. That's how you end up with a bunch of much stronger physically, mentally, and biologically male men who absolutely dominate the women's division of any sport they decide to compete in.
Yep.
Just look at cycling, look at weightlifting, look at all these sports that men now hold the title in for best of in the women's division.
My point of view is that there's a reason, there's a distinction. There's a reason why we make the distinction to have male athletics versus female athletics.
Joe is exactly right here. There are physical differences between men and women. The sooner you accept this, the happier you will be.
The reason is that males have a physiological advantage over women. So in most sports, most physical sports, we do not have males compete with females.
Well, that's not very progressive of you, Joe.
Do those same physiological advantages apply? And what is the evidence?
Joe then goes on for about 3 minutes explaining the difference between men and women. I don't need to explain it to you because we all know. Men are naturally stronger. We have better strength. Men who have been men for 30 plus years decide to transition to women and then just become the best of the best. And Joe waits for Adam's retort.
Well, I disagree.
Of course you do, because Joe's not saying men and women are exactly the same no matter what. So of course you have to disagree because you're a progressive.
What do you disagree about?
I've already, my main point being the one that I already made, right? That
good God, Adam has a bunch of verbal crutches that he has to use. It's like listening to AOC talk. But what do you have to disagree about? Your original point was horseshit. And you can kind of tell that he's a little hot under the collar from the beating he just got from Joe.
I don't think that there is such a thing as a perfectly level playing field. I think we decide what kind of playing field we want to have.
That is absolute.
You don't get to decide what playing field you have. You don't. Take football, for instance. You are supposed to be the best of the best. Professional football. You are supposed to be the best of the best. You're saying that we should to level. Did you not hear what he said? Level the playing field. So what that means is get rid of. No, I got it. They want the best of the best females to enter, and whatever men can equal those best of the best women, those will be the men that are allowed to play in that division. But we're going to have to base it off the women. So it's fair. The women have to go first. But then it's not equal then because the women got to go first. That's not equal. The women got, preferable treatment because the women got to go first. But in Adam's world, something tells me that's what he's trying to say. He can't put it in words, and I bet you his brain isn't formulating that thought. But I formulated it for him. I pulled a Professor X and I read his mind. That's what he's saying. To level the playing field, to make it even, we need the women to go first, the best of the best women. And once those women have been decided, then we take an equal group of men and they have to play at that same equal level to the men. And there's your sports right there so we can make it even. There it is, right there. But now that means we don't have the best of the best men. Now we're discriminating against the best of the best men now. So that's not fair. But no, it's all anti-man. That's what it is. It's all anti-man unless you're a transgender woman. Then you're fine because you transitioned to a woman. So now it's fine. But I could have sworn that biologically, they don't like biological males. Well, a trans woman is still a biological fucking male. Just because you call yourself a woman and you transition to a woman, it still didn't change your biology. And I thought these feminists were against biological males. Well, that would still include fucking trans women, fucking dumbass. And I have to point this out, just in case for people who don't understand or are confused still by it. A trans woman is a man who transitioned into a woman. So therefore, a trans man is a woman who transitioned into a man. Got to point that out because a lot of people truly don't know.
Entire horseshit. There is a level playing field. Men versus men, women versus women. How much more level?
Whoa. And here's the thing. Even men versus men, is that a level playing field? Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player ever. He is the GOAT. Fuck LeBron. Oh my God. Jordan in his prime would school the fuck out of LeBron. Jesus Christ. Fuck. Jordan would school the shit out of LeBron. LeBron can't shoot. His field goal percentage is nowhere near Jordan's. No. And this was Jordan passing the ball around. You do realize the reason why the Bulls won so much is because they had a great team. Steve Kerr, Rodman, Pippen, Kukoc. They had a great team. Fisher. Jordan didn't need to take every shot because he had a great team. Why do you think LeBron didn't? Why do you think LeBron didn't win so many games, right? His percentage is high because he's taken majority of the shots because his teams that he played with fucking sucked. Why do you think so seriously? That's why they haven't won as many games as the Bulls did and everything. LeBron ain't shit. Jordan in his prime would school the fuck out of fucking LeBron. School his ass. Jordan is the GOAT, period. But here's my point. Jordan. Who can compete with Jordan? Just look at the time frame. Look at Jordan's career. Who was better than Jordan during his era? Who was better than Jordan? Nobody's better than Jordan now. But who was better than Jordan in his career? Nobody. So was it fair? Shaq. Do y'all remember they tried to Mark Cuban pushed to try and change the rules of basketball. Literally, he wanted to change the rules of basketball because they could not stop Shaquille O'Neal. They couldn't box him out. They could not stop Shaq. So they were pushing rules to change the rules just to make it more fair because we can't stop Shaq. So is it among men and women? Is it even fair among men and women? Is it? You could say all you want about Mark McGuire or Bonds. You could say all you want about them. But them hitting all the home runs that they were hitting, was baseball fair? Randy Johnson? Was it fair the way he pitched? Tom Brady, who's supposed to be the GOAT, even though the Patriots fucking cheat all the damn time, but supposed to be the fucking GOAT as quarterbacks go. Is it fair? Is he equal to all other quarterbacks? No, he isn't. He's better than most all other quarterbacks. Usain Bolt, you think he's equal to all men out there? No, he isn't. So where is this level playing field that we're supposed to have with men and women with just taking the men? Where is it fair? In all the people I just named, who is it fair to? It's not. It's not fair. These people are the best. So you're always still going to have the best of the best, regardless. So it's not fair even amongst the men. The Williams sisters dominated tennis. Dominated. They're women, biologically women, yet they dominated. And you're going to sit there and say that, you know, other women could compete with them in their prime? No. So it's not fair. It's not fair. They're better. We supposed to just not have them play so it's more fair to everybody? Back in the day when the Williams sisters were just dominating the fuck out of everybody, were we supposed to just say, that's it, you're no longer allowed to play? So because if they know they're playing against you, they already know Serena's just gonna fucking blow them out of the water. So that's it, Serena, you're not allowed to play because it's not fair. Oh my God, you people are just fucking retarded. There's no such thing as fair in life. It's not fair in life. But you notice how Adam said, but in sports, he wasn't talking real life. He was talking sports. Well, I hate to tell you, in sports, it's even more unfair because those are the best of the best. It's unfair. They have an unfair advantage because they are the best of the best. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
And I think that distinction may be breaking down a bit, right? And I think it may be time to break down the distinction.
So
Why?
you think that males should be able to compete in the women's division of weightlifting?
I think we all know what Adam's response is going to be. Yes, but they're not males. They're females because they identify as female. Sorry, but you can't be a man all your life and then one day just decide that you're a woman and then try to use it to your advantage by competing in some weightlifting competition.
No, I don't necessarily.
But they
But
can if they transition.
Someone once told me that anything anybody says before the word but is completely pointless. No, I don't think so, but.
well, first of all,
You getting a little hot under the collar there, Adam? This guy is so useless without a scriptwriter.
Yep.
See, you could be forgiven for thinking he knows what he's talking about just because he has someone write his script. You guys really think Hugh Laurie is a doctor? Come on.
there's a lot of stuff to break down, right? And I'm not an expert on the subject, right? So it's just sort of
What are we breaking down? He literally asked you a straight question. So are men, y'all want this equal, right? You want it equal. So should men compete with women? Is it fair? You already know the answer to that. No, it's not fair. But if you transition, as Joe Rogan said, well, if you transition, then you can. You fucking piece of shit feminist, you fucking gays that believe in that feminist bullshit, shut the fuck up. Why is it so hard for you to live in the real world? Why is it so hard for y'all to just live in the real world is unfair? Because I already know somebody's going to probably say that. Oh, it's because it's unfair. The real world is unfair. You cannot. What is it that book that whatchamacallit had in what is it? Was it The Flash? Green Arrow? Or was it, I think it was the whole crossover. Yeah, it was the whole crossover that they had between Supergirl, The Flash, Green Arrow and everything. The one who had that book of like reality where he can like literally write reality and everything. That's what you fuckers wish you had. You fucking leftists wish you had that book to just write the reality that you want. But even if you had that book, there would be no such thing as fair. Even if you take exact clones. I remember I pointed out in one of my videos, twins. Twins are not equal at all because they're still two separate people. Regardless, triplets, 3 separate people. They are not equal, even though they are supposed to be identical twins, identical fucking triplets. They're not equal. I don't care. You're going to have one that's smarter. You can make 1,000,000 fucking clones. The Clone Wars. You can make 1,000,000 fucking clones. And they're not going to be equal. Down to the most, we're talking the smallest, because they're going to be different. They're going to be different down to the most minute level of what makes them who they are. There's going to be one's going to have one more chromosome. They're not going to be equal. I don't care how equal you try and make them. Cloning, they will not be exact. They can have everything be the same, but they will grow at different rates because time is time. You can't control time. Their makeup, I don't care how perfect you think you got them to be exact clones. They will be different. We are different. We are different. We are all different. Why can't you fucking feminists and you gay people and trans people, why can't y'all just live in the real world? The real world isn't pretty. Sorry, but you gotta live in it unless you don't want to. Then I don't want to get in trouble for saying, but seriously, until you fuckers just, you know what, this is the way the world is. I'm just going to live my life and live in it. Do my best. Once y'all get that shit straight, then we'll be fine. We'll all be fine if you just go, the real world is real and it's unfair. It's unfair. Once y'all figured that out, I truly believe you will be happier. We'll all be happier, for that matter, because y'all will shut the fuck up.
Off the top of my head,
if you're not an expert on the subject and you don't know, why are you arguing with someone who is pretty well versed on the subject that you're getting BTFO'd on?
One thing is, you're postulating a particular person who decided to transition at the age of 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were very big and strong before, right? And they decided to transition. Now, that is a type of person that exists, right?
I'm willing to go out on a limb and say most people who transition do it for some kind of gain if they're going into a sport after they transition. They're big and strong already, but they can't hack it in the men's division. So they go, I'm a woman now, and then just dominate in the female division and then demand to be called stunning and brave or something.
I think over the next certainly 30 years, we're going to see, now that people are starting to understand that being trans is just a way that people are.
A study recently done said
What?
a lot of people are transitioning because they think it's the trendy thing to do. You guys remember those goth and emo kids in high school? How many of them are still goth?
Right? They're just people who are trans, and this is something that we're going to accept and support, right?
I don't care if you're trans, but don't act like you're doing some virtuous thing that you deserve accolades for. You're being yourself.
You're seeing folks transition much, much earlier age,
Now that I have a problem with.
So do
if you're
I.
under the age of 12 and transitioning, you did not make that decision on your own.
And your parents should fucking go to jail.
And so if someone is transitioning from the age of 7 years old, right?
Now that's something I
Whoa.
have a huge problem with. That's the parents forcing the child not to go through puberty and to change their gender. How do you know that the child just wants to be a gay kid? Like, how do you know the kid is trans? When I was 7,
Good Lord, I have a whole bunch of fucking gay and lesbian friends who to this day, and I've known for years, over 20 years, who still can't decide on what they are. Damn, these are people like in my age in their fucking 40s, and they can't decide if they're gay or straight. I've had friends who have been married, married and everything. And it's like, nah, I realize I'm not, and you expect a fucking kid who hasn't lived long enough on this world, who hasn't even had a job yet, who hasn't even gone through school yet to know what the fuck. Oh my God, I want to be an astronaut. You know how they ask that question when you're a kid? What do you want to grow up to be, Jimmy? I want to grow up to be an astronaut. I want to grow up to be a fireman. How many of those people actually did? But they believed it. They wholeheartedly believed it, but they're not. So I got a lot of my friends who are roofers. Do you think they actually grew up wanting to be a roofer? No. So seriously, you got adults that to this day, my fucking ex-wife, the one who promised to have and to hold till death do us part and all that shit, and ended up fucking leaving and shit after 2 weeks after our 23rd anniversary. Even though telling me the whole time that I don't want you to leave. I don't want you to leave. Even though I said, I kept saying, leading up to that point, something right here. Maybe we should separate. Maybe we should go, no, you're just seeing things. You're just reading into things. You're just seeing things. She didn't even know. Bitch, hello, we're in our fucking 40s. And she fucking just like a damn runaway thief in the night kind of shit, just up and packed her shit. She didn't even know what the fuck she wanted. And she's in her fucking, she's 50 now, but in her 40s, didn't know what the fuck she wanted. I don't trust too many people as it is, period. I know who I am. I know everything of who I am. I've been studying my own life since I was a kid. I read War and Peace when I was 5, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I've read, since I was 5, big books. People didn't teach me how to read. I already knew how to read for whatever reason. I knew who I was, not what I wanted to be in life or whatever. I never knew what the fuck I wanted to be. And as far as being something, because I knew we all change, we all grow, we all adapt. Even as a child, I knew that. So to make a definitive decision and go, I want to be this, whenever they asked that question, I never could answer it. I would get in trouble when they would actually have us try to write an essay about what we wanted to be. I was like, I don't know. I have no idea. You don't know what you want to be? No. Don't I have a choice? Don't I still get to make a choice later in life? That's why you have people who started out this way and then go back to school in their 30s and 40s. They didn't know, but you're expecting me in fucking school, fucking high school to know what the hell, or junior high and high school to know what the fuck I want to be when I grow up, when you got adults changing their careers and shit. You know, it's like, I don't know. So you got adults even now who don't know who they are at all. They don't know. I know who I am. I know what I am. I've been studying myself. I can look in myself in the mirror and know who and what I am. Most people I have ever known in my entire life cannot do that, period. Because they say one thing and then sometime down the road, well, I didn't know this would happen, or I didn't know this would change, or, and then all of a sudden, that's an excuse. And I'm like, well, then don't tell me something of yourself that this is who I am, this is what I want, I know what I want, and then turn around and change later. Don't do that to me, because I'm not going to be a nice person when we get into it about it. I will not be a nice person. Because it's like, well, that's funny, because when you gave me your word, this is what you told me. Now, all of a sudden, you're telling me something completely different, and I'm supposed to just accept it? No. I know who and what I am. When I make a decision about something, I leave myself an out in how I word things, because I know things can change. I know things can change in life. Like, I didn't know that I was going to be at the point of almost dying, like 7 times, 7, 8. This last one back in June, I think it was number 8. I didn't know that was going to happen. I didn't know I was healthy as hell. Going 6 years ago, I was fucking healthy as shit. Now I have stage 3 kidney disease. My left knee was replaced. They're talking about removing my upper sinuses because they're like, seriously, I didn't know any of this shit was going to happen. Shit changes. But as far as who I am to the core of my being, that person I know. That's the reason why when people get to know me, I pretty much lay everything. I lay all my cards out. I'm 49 years old. I ain't got time, especially with almost dying, like 8 fucking times and shit. I do not have time to be, because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I don't have time to be goofing around and fucking around with shit. Oh, you got time? No, you don't. When I told before this routine surgery, June 15th of this year, when I told my friends how apprehensive I was for this surgery, because I'm apprehensive over all my surgeries, because something bad always fucking happens. Oh, you're just reading into things. You're just being paranoid. And what happened? Beaumont Army Hospital Medical Center punctured my lung and almost killed me. And when I came out of it, I was like, As a matter of fact, even before they put me under, I'm on my phone posting. Didn't I fucking tell y'all? Didn't I tell you? Shit happens. But in the end, I still know who and what I am. I will adapt to those, those eddies and twists and turns, and I will ride the wave. I will adapt, or sometimes I'll just freaking crash through that wave and make my own path. But I'm not going to sit there and appreciate somebody. I've had, as I said, the ex-wife, ex-fiancés that said one thing, even though I asked them, considering after what the ex-wife did, I was like, no. I want to know who and what you are. Well, this is who and what I am. Are you sure? Have you really looked in the mirror and thought of this? Have you truly thought of it? Yeah, I know exactly who I am. Okay. And then sure enough, all of a sudden here they did whatever, change or whatever or something. And all of a sudden it's like, well, okay, I thought I knew this about myself. I thought this is the situation I thought I could live with or whatever. And it's like, but you knew everything coming into this situation. You knew everything. All the cards lined up. Period. You knew everything coming in. And you still said, this is the decision I'm making. Now, all of a sudden, you're turning around and going, well, I changed my mind. And I'm supposed to be okay with that. No, you knew everything coming in. This was the decision you made. Yes, everybody is allowed to change their mind. Everybody's allowed to change their mind, grow and adapt and everything else and stuff. But here's my point. You come into my environment, then this is the way this is the way I am. If you want to be a part of that environment, then this is what you're going to have to do. I'm not changing. I've already said I'm not changing. I've had people, oh, you're an asshole. You're supposed to change and adapt. No, I literally said that before we got into this situation. So you didn't have to make that situation to be here. You could have gone and done something else. Considering I already said, no, I ain't changing. I'm not adapting. I'm not growing. I'm growing, but I'm not doing any of that stuff. This is who I am. This is what you see. This is what you get. You don't want it. You don't like it. Then don't. I'm happy with that. I'm perfect with that. I live in the real world. The real world is as good as you can have it or as good as you can make it or both. That's the real world. If you can't live in that, then I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you. I have nothing to do with your life or how you can change or adapt or grow to things or how you can look your own self in the mirror. I can't do that for anyone else. I can only be me. I love that song, Human, by Thug and Bone. Is it Thug and Bone? Oh my God, it's one of my favorite songs. I sing it. I own a karaoke company. But it's one of my favorite songs. It's like, I'm only human after all. What is it? Don't ask my opinion. Don't ask me, don't beg me to lie. Then beg for forgiveness for making you cry. When I heard that song and listened to the lyrics, I was like, dude, you would swear I sat down and penned that song, that I wrote it, because I've had people, sit there and try to get me, to be that person. Trying to, ask my opinion about things and then turn around and expect me to just rag and bone. Yeah. Love that song. Love it. Love this song.
through this and see what's behind. Got no way to prove it, so maybe I'm lying.
But I'm only human.
After
Yep.
all, I'm only human. After all, don't put your blame on me.
Yep. Don't put your blame on me. But I've got friends who have done that since going back to high school, asking me for my advice about stuff and then not take my advice for that matter, for one. Or, I'll even tell them, because I learned my lesson. I'm like, no, I ain't giving y'all advice anymore. Fuck that shit. No, figure the shit out on your own. But that's why I came to you. I want your advice. Oh yeah, my ex-fiance, Melissa. Let's just take her for instance. This one's a great one. We were friends going through the years here in El Paso. Friends. She hooked up with this dumbass, complete fucking dumbass, who's nothing but a piece of shit, treats her like shit and everything. And through the years of constantly dumping him, taking him back, dumping him, taking him back, dumping him, taking him back, we all, the friends, were like, you know what? We're done. We're out. We're done. We're tired of it. We're tired of you doing that. All we do is tell you, come to us for advice, and all we do is tell you, dump his ass, leave him the fuck alone. He's a piece of shit, but you keep taking him back. And finally, we got to a point where we were like, was it about 12 years ago, something like that, 10, 12 years ago? We were like, we're done. We are fucking done with you. Just don't ever contact us again, because as long as you're with him, we're no longer your friends. Because he's going to keep hurting you and you're going to keep running to us. Oh my God, I should leave him. We're done. Well, what was it? A few years back, she tried contacting me and I started talking to her again. This was a few years back, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. And sure enough, she took him back. Well, then going back 2 years ago, I'm sitting here with one of my friends. We're watching movies, sitting here at the house. And sure enough, lo and behold, she texted me or messaged me through Facebook. And I was like, what the hell do you want? And it was like, I've been trying to contact you for the longest time. I've been trying to contact you. I finally got rid of him. And I was like, yeah, that's whatever. That's good for you. What do you, we're tired. Hello, that's why we dumped your friendship, is because we're tired of hearing. No, I swear he's gone. I actually dumped him 2 years ago. So that was it. I was done with him. Me like an idiot, even though I contacted the friends. Hey, guess who's fucking texting me right now and shit. And they were like, Mark, don't listen to her. And I was like, well, she's swearing up and down she got rid of him 2 years ago. She's swearing. That was it. I was tired of him. He's a piece of shit and everything. I was like, how many times we've heard that? But no, he's been gone for 2 years. He's never really been gone that long. I've always taken him back. But no, this time I'm sure. Her and I finally, we end up hooking up. We end up dating. We end up actually getting engaged. Family loved me. Everybody's great, whatever. But something didn't seem right with me. Something just did not seem right. I just kept thinking.
I wanted to be a Super Saiyan.
I just kept thinking something always seems off. I never felt that the relationship was actually solid because I was like, I'm telling you, that the back of my mind, that whole thing of, you know what, she's lying. Maybe not necessarily lying to me. Well, lying to me, yes, but lying to herself. Sure enough, the ex-boyfriend, whatever the fuck he was to her all those years, contacts her because he found out, because him and I have never liked each other because he's a piece of shit. And I've called him out on it. He's a fucking piece of shit. So he finds out we're dating. I never knew he was racist. I always knew he was a piece of shit, but I never knew he was racist. So he starts saying, contacting her and saying the most racist shit and everything, which I don't fucking play. I don't play that shit. It was like, dude, I could whip your ass when I knew you back in the day. You all of a sudden think you can take me now? I was like, you better fucking tell this piece of shit I will whip his ass still today. Whipped his ass back then, I'll whip his ass still today. You better tell him to shut the fuck up because I don't play that shit. And she's like, oh, but no, I'm done with him and everything. But she let what all the stuff that he was saying get to her. So again, I was like, nah, something's not right. I just never felt comfortable with the relationship. I never fully embraced the relationship because I was like, something's not right. She's still hung up on him. And the whole time, the friends are still like literally like almost daily checking. So has she like dumped you to going back to him yet? You know, I mean, because none of us trust her. But yes, it did happen. He got into a car accident and apparently he almost died. And I guess a relative of his in the car accident did die or something. She had already been starting to move in. But, you know, in the time frame of this, you know, she packed all of her shit, not some of her shit. Now, mind you, I didn't know what was going on. She gets a phone call from her mom, doesn't say anything, and quietly just packs all of her shit and goes running to his side. So again, see why I don't trust anyone? So her and I, of course, she didn't even tell me. I didn't know what was going on. I had to find out days later. Didn't hear from her for days. This is somebody I'm supposed to be engaged to. Didn't hear from her for days. So this is why I have trust issues. The ex-wife, whatever, you know. That's the reason why it pisses me off when women claim they want a good man and then have a good man and then leave the good man for a man that treats them like shit. To me, that is one of the biggest lies out there, that women want a good man. This is one of the biggest fucking lies out there. Because why is it that the good men always get dumped for the bad boys? Interesting. So sure enough, she doesn't call. She like text messages me to tell me like what happened and shit. That he was in an accident, he almost died, and I had to run to his side and everything. And him and I are destined to be together. Whoa. You dumped him more than 2 years ago, but you're destined to be together? I was like, you know what? That's because I'm real. I'm straight real. I don't fucking candy coat shit. And I was like, you know what? You are going to be alone for the rest of your fucking life. You are. I said, because I guarantee you inside of a few fucking months, because hello, you get back with him, you dump him. You get back with him, you dump him. You've been doing that as long as we have all known you. You don't know who you are or what you want. And she's like, no, we're destined to be together. We're destined. And then when I said, no, I guarantee you inside of a few months, you're going to end up dumping him again because he's nothing but a piece of shit and he'll never change. Whatever. And she literally said, well, even if that's the case, at least I'll still be available for him. And I'm like, wow. Well, check this out. So I happened, because you know that whole like friends suggestion bullshit, whatever, and on Facebook fucking scrolls across your timeline crap. Well, her profile popped up and I was like, of course, curiosity got the best of me. So I was like, I got to see if she's still back with that motherfucker. No, she isn't. And as a matter of fact, she's posting all of these life isn't fair and I'm alone and why can't I find a good man? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I love being right. I'm like right all the fucking time. I love being right. Love being right. I was like, oh my God, I came so close to just texting her straight out going, oh, so you're not back with him. I see again. I see you're posting shit of how dumb he was, how you're not with him anymore, how there's got to be the perfect man out there and everything. It's like, wow. So what happened? I thought he was your perfect man. But here's my point that I'm getting to, completely off. Well, not really off topic. It kind of goes with it. But I said, what happened to you giving your word? When I told you, I don't trust anybody because of what Cindy did. I don't trust anyone because people claim they know who they are, they know themselves. And she did the whole thing. Mark, I'm 30, 38, 30. Oh, good Lord, can't remember how old she was or is right now. But it's like, I'm over, I'm almost 40 years old, or she is 40, somewhere in her 40, whatever. And it's like, I know who I am. It'd be stupid to be this age and not know who I am. And you're insulting me by saying that I don't know who I am when I do know who I am. And I know what I want. And I did dump him and I made the right decision and he's gone for good. And you're just completely insulting me and not listening to what I'm telling you when I made the decision and it was final. I know who I am and I know what I said and I know. So I brought that up in the conversation. I was like, oh, I thought you knew who you were. I thought he was gone for good. I thought you had your self-respect and everything. I thought you knew who you are. I thought you knew. You made the decisions knowing who you are. Well, I thought I did. And I was like, and this is what I'm talking. And I was like, and that's what I'm talking about, bitch. I told you I don't believe you because I just don't think no one I have ever met truly knows who they are, that they have truly looked in the mirror to understand who and what they are. I have almost died. I'm sorry, when you almost die, especially numerous fucking times, you really try to, look through life and death. You see it in a much different way. You try to make judgment calls on just everything day by day moving forward because you don't know what the next day will bring. I know who I am and I know the decisions that I make are the decisions I'm making at that time. If you change the deal, then that's on you. So yeah, it's hard for me to believe that people know who and what they are. So this whole thing of you think a 7-year-old or even a 16-year-old can transition to male, female, whatever, and they know what they want. You have people in their fucking 50s going back to school because they don't know what they want. A lot of my friends who are straight turned gay. A lot of my gay friends have turned straight. A lot of my friends who have transitioned are regretting it. So seriously, these are adults. These are people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Don't know what the fuck to do with their lives. Don't know what decisions to make moving forward in their lives. Yet you expect a fucking 7-year-old. Oh my God. I'm telling you, these fucking leftist fucking Adam, whatever the fuck his name is from, Adam Ruins Everything and shit. Adam Conover, or whatever the fuck his name is. You think a damn 7-year-old or a 16-year-old knows what the fuck they want when they're still living at home in their parents' house? They haven't even gone to school yet. They haven't gone to college yet. They haven't gone to a trade school yet. They are on their own in their own fucking house, paying their own bills, any of that to know what they want to do in their life. But they think they know what their sex is, their gender is. You want to do you. That's fine. If my kids had wanted to transition or whatever, I'd have been like, you're going to wait until you're out of my fucking house. Because I ain't taking responsibility. I am not going to have people come at me when it's down the road, like letting you transition like before you're 18 years old, living in my house. I was not going to allow that shit. And you could say, well, you're one of those asshole parents. Well, fuck you. It's my house. I'm the one paying the goddamn bills. You follow my fucking rules. That's all there is to it. Well, you're closed-minded. No, I'm not. You want to transition after you're out of my fucking house and you want to make that decision, then you can make that decision. You are not going to turn around and make a decision for the safety of my house because you know what usually happens when shit like that happens? The person ends up blaming the parent when shit doesn't go their way. When shit doesn't go their way, the parents get blamed. Why'd you let me transition? I was young. I was stupid. I was impressionable. How dare you? See what I mean? You don't think this happens in sports where parents push their kids into a sport and then the kid hates the sport? Or how about the kids that can't decide what the fuck they want to do? I want to do ballet. 3 months later, no, I hate ballet. I want to do softball. No, I hate softball. I want to do soccer. No, kids can't make up their fucking minds. That's the whole point of them being dumbass kids. But a life-changing experience like transitioning, kids apparently have the maturity for that. As I said, I've got my adult friends that don't know their own lives right now. And they're in their fucking 40s and 50s and don't know their own lives right now. But you're expecting fucking kids to transition. As I said, if my videos end up whatever, going viral, increasing, whatever the fuck and shit, I'm going to piss off a lot of people, and I just don't give a fuck because I'm real and I'm going to speak the fucking truth, whether you want to hear it or not. I'm going to tell you the goddamn truth. I don't care if you get offended. I don't care if you get butt hurt over it. This is the truth. That's all there is to it. But anyway, as I said, if you want to watch the rest of it, I didn't even watch the whole video because Adam Conover is a piece of shit. He's a dumbass. Joe Rogan called him out, caught him in his fucking bullshit lies and everything. And I'm not going to watch the whole video. But if you want to, it's Joe Rogan Destroys, Adam Ruins Everything. It's about almost 45 minutes long. I guess if you want to round down, it's 44 minutes long. But you can catch it yourself if you want to see it yourself. But
I didn't get say
it's stupid. These progressives are dumber than dirt. They you notice how every time any one of these people are on a panel, well, I'm not an expert on the subject. Don't quote me on this. But you're the one that's here. You're the one who's running around Twitter, tweeting shit, about this subject. So that's why I had you on. But now you're pulling this bullshit. Well, I'm not an expert on it. Well, then why don't you shut? If you can't answer simple questions, especially for these people that are like in the media and everything, like Adam Ruins Everything and TV shows and shit like that. If you're opening your mouth and you have a platform of that nature to reach millions of people, you better know what the fuck you're talking about. Because people like me, Joe Rogan, and all of us, we're going to call you out on your bullshit. Anyway, let me get into the next video. We'll see what the next one is. Oh, I love when they go after fucking AOC. Love that shit. But let me see. I guess we'll do the race stuff. So we'll go ahead and get into this one with Don Dumbass Lemon. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, damn. I really didn't want this video to go long, but I have to do this one really quick. Oh, this one's great. I forgot I even had this one on here. So to continue about the fucking transgender thing, so this video is going to go a little bit longer, but to continue about the fucking transgender thing and the differences between men and women and everything, we have to go into this one. I completely forgot because this one was supposed to be, I would have already gone into it, but I completely forgot this one was in my folder.
Imagine a group of people who work to destroy
I do love
Italy
Prager. I do love Prager
because they claim.
Looks like we got to do this again because apparently Rachel McKinnon, who is a trans cyclist, has won yet another competition.
What, as you understand it, is their problem with you competing?
I'm legally and medically female, but the people who oppose...
Stop. She's legally medically female.
Does not mean she's biologically female.
Yeah, I hate to tell you fucking trans people out there, you can be legally and medically. Actually, I don't even know how can you be medically female? You didn't change your biology, so you are not medically female. God damn. Just because you added on some tits started taking some damn estrogen or hormone fucking pills and maybe cut off your dick does not make you fucking female. It doesn't make you female. Not legally, whatever. The legal bullshit, whatever. But medically, medical. When you go to, this is my issue with this. When you go to your doctor, especially with all the fucking medications and shit I got to take and everything, and the blood work and the labs and everything else, did you know, like, say for my kidney disease, that my doctor asked me, he goes, biologically, and he was kind of tender in the way he asked about it. He was kind of like, he was like, well, what do you consider? Me, I don't know. I think he was trying to ask, like, what do I identify as? Because he was like, as far as I know, from your blood work and stuff, you are, mixed. You're part, obviously you're mixed. And he was like, well, are you like more African American? And I said, yes, I am, because I am. And he goes, there's a reason why I'm asking. He was like, because medically, your labs, they've come a long way. Medical research has come a long way. Your labs are different. Like sickle cell. We know sickle cell attacks more African Americans than any other race. That is just a medical fact. So you could be multiracial or biracial, but if you are more African American in that race, or even half of that, you are still more likely to get sickle cell because you have such a large amount of African American or black African, whatever, DNA in your body, biologically. That's just the way it is. So if your doctor, when you go to your doctor and they have to run these labs, I don't care. Let's say if the transition is perfect, because you got those that like you just don't know, period. They look like a woman, period. No matter what, that is a woman. But if you go to your doctor, say it's a brand new doctor that didn't know about your transitioning and all this other stuff, are you going to tell the truth or are you going to lie? Are you going to tell the truth that you actually are a male that transitioned, or are you going to lie and say, I'm a woman? Because you do realize those labs are completely different for men and women, because they have to be, because medicines are different for men and women. The courses of those medications, the level of those medications are going to be different for men and women because of your biology. Because you may have your ovaries, and this may damage ovaries, and this may this may not be good for a biological male. But because you lied and said you were a woman, they gave you something that damages men. So no, you are not medically a fucking female. You are legally a female, but you are not medically a female because you did not change your fucking biology. And again, if you go to your doctor and they truly need to know if you are a male or a woman, you better fucking answer that question the right way, the truthful way. Because if you all of a sudden start dying because he gave you medication for a woman that would damage a male's body, now what are you going to do? Let me guess. You're probably going to sue that fucking doctor, because the doctor should have known that I was just identifying as a woman. But he should have known that I'm actually a man, and should have. See, this is what pisses me off about you trans fucking people. You are not medically the thing you are identifying with. That is impossible because you didn't change your fucking DNA. Jesus Christ. I'm only part white. I'm mostly African American, and then secondary to that is a bunch of European, and then there's some Asian and Native American and all that thrown in there. But I'm mostly African American. I can't I can legally. Remember, we're talking legally. Legally, I can identify as white, but it doesn't mean it changed my DNA to where my Irish side all of a sudden just became magically above my African side just because I identify more with white. God, oh my God, you fucking trans people. Oh my God. Not my dumbass friends. I mean, not my friends, because my friends who are trans are fucking intelligent and they call that bullshit out. But they're trans and they call that bullshit out. So they're intelligent trans people. It's all these fucking retarded trans people.
Still biologically male.
Okay. Oh, see?
She's very careful.
Okay.
Medically just means that on your paperwork it says.
Okay.
But the people who oppose my existence still want to think of me as male. Think of me as male.
Because you
A
are male.
transgender man is a female who identifies as a man.
Yeah.
Okay. A transgender woman is a male who identifies as a woman. You have to understand the difference between sex and gender. Gender is a spectrum, okay? People shows traits of femininity, androgynous. That's in regards more towards characteristic behaviors. Sex is a matter of biology, and it's about your gonads, it's about your chromosomes. These are things that are generally immutable, meaning you cannot change them. That means that a male, no matter how much they transition, will never become a female. You can't change your chromosomes. You can't change your internal organs.
Unless the world of D&D all of a sudden magically appears and we end up having the belt of masculinity and femininity. You know, unless or there's some magic matrix red and blue pills out there that fucking biologically changes you. You are still who you are born to be. Oh, unless you're hermaphrodite, because then you're both. But that's it. Male, female, hermaphrodite.
A lot of this stuff aren't mutable. Your femaleness, okay, the fact that you're a female isn't based off of any paper or what a legal person says. It's based off your biology. You can say you're a female all you want. Ladies, if you went on a date with a dude and he said he was 6'3", and you show up and he's 5'2", and you'd be like, you're not 6'3", like you said. And he's like, well, my paperwork.
See, this is where the issue gets into that I've been really pissed about all of this. I identify with being a billionaire. I identify with being a billionaire. Can I put that on my profile? I can put it on my profile. I can put it on my profile and say that I identify as that I am a billionaire because I identify as a billionaire. And what are most women going to do? You ain't no billionaire. You lied. But I identify as a billionaire. See? So just like he pointed out, you go ahead and you go on a blind date and you identified as being 6'3", 6'4", and you show up and you're like 5'6", that girl's going to be like, you ain't no 6'3", you lied. Hey, on my paperwork, legally, it says I'm fucking 6'3". See how stupid this sounds? See how stupid it is?
Or it says 6'3".
It's a matter of biology. It doesn't matter what the paperwork says. The reality is still the reality.
And so there's this stereotype that men are always stronger than women. And so if you think of trans women as men, then you think there's an unfair advantage.
Again, very careful with the language. There's this idea that all men are stronger than women. Nobody has said that.
No.
No, again, if I get in the ring with Ronda Rousey, she's going to have her way with my butt. She will. She's going to tear into my butt. She is.
Do what?
She's going to tear into my butt.
Oh, why you do that?
Because she can. Because she's stronger than me.
Because she can. What's she going to have?
Ronda Rousey about to get rowdy up in my butt.
Why are you so happy about that?
Some niggas are rowdy. I'm Ronda.
I'm pretty sure some people are going to hear that. It's going to be a Rousey.
Rousey?
Oh, wow. I hate myself for that.
So this idea that trans athletes feel like it's fair for them to compete, that there's no biological difference. And so I said, cool. But I also have a question. Why is it always transgender females who are always winning and breaking these records? Why isn't it men? So here, we have this article from Pink News that says 10 transgender athletes explain why it's fair to compete. So first up, we have Rachel McKinnon, a 2-time world champion trans cyclist. She's been competing against women. Let's go to the next person. Transgender triathlete Chris Mosier. He is a transgender man, meaning he was born a female, transitioned to man. He has won absolutely nothing. So that's 1 for women, 0 for men. Transgender fighter MMA fighter Fallon Fox, who has a record of 6-1, including most of the wins by TKO, knockouts in the first round. On the other side, we have a transgender man, meaning born a female, transitioned to man, Pat Manuel, who made history in 2008 when he became the first transgender man to professionally box. What's his record? 1-0. He's only had one fight. Who did he fight? A fighter who was 0-7, never won a fight. Laurel Hubbard, who has won a few gold medals and beaten competitions as well as competed in the Commonwealth Games. She's broken records, of course. And then we have transgender swimmer Bailar, a transgender male, meaning born female, transitioned to man. Was a winner up until 2012, transitioned, and then never won anything ever again. Then we have transgender wrestler Mac Beggs, who was born a female, transitioned to man, and he has won the high school state wrestling championship in 2017, 2018. So this is the first transgender man who's won something at a high level. Only problem is he's competing against women while on testosterone. So you have a biological female on testosterone competing against women and annihilating the competition. Even when they make their own articles, have their best examples of biological female competing against biological males, they never win anything. They never compete at the highest level. They never show out in a real way. But notice that all the biological males who transition and compete against females are breaking record. So if this is so fair, how come there aren't more transgender men winning?
Because it's not. That's the answer. Because it's not. The answer is because it's not.
Sport as a human right. Just explain what that means for you.
We care about the Olympics. We care about sport. It is central to society. So if you want to say, well, I believe you're a woman for all of society except this massive central part that is sport, then that's not fair. So fairness is the inclusion of trans women.
Is it fair when someone who has a crazy physiological and biological advantage gets into a UFC ring and cracks the skull of a biological female, not because the male is more talented, but because the male is stronger, faster, and better built for fighting sports? Ask any athlete if they want to compete against males, and they'll all tell you no. It's not because they don't work hard enough, because I would never insult female athletes that way. It's because they understand that there is a biological difference between them and their male counterparts. So when you sit there and you say it's unfair to me to not let me, I'm like, no, it is unfair to let you participate in that sport.
Do you think you'd have been a world champion cyclist if you hadn't transitioned?
I don't think I am a world champion because I'm a trans woman.
You notice how she dodged the question? If you had not transitioned, meaning still been a male competing in male cycling, do you think you'd be a world champion? And just completely, something tells me that these questions were handed to her beforehand so she could script out an answer.
Put in the work.
Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? This woman asked you a simple question and you going off left and right. Who are you talking to?
What's wrong, bro? You good?
You like that?
Yeah, it looked like me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm like, oh shit, that's me.
Hey, you inspired me.
Don't it feel good though? Do it again.
Who are you talking to? Telling me to feel it again. Who are you talking to?
Put your hands in this shit.
It's more in the shoulders. Who are you talking to? This girl's bugging, yo.
Yeah, but she's bugging, but she's not answering the question.
You can admit the fact that you work hard and also admit the fact that you have a huge advantage because you're a male. Yeah, you both those things can be true.
And you can still, you can still work hard.
And again, we have to remember, I lose most of my races. I've lost against the specific cis women complaining about me being unfair.
Yes, you, a regular male who trains hard, lost against the top level athlete females. It's because you're not that good.
Yeah.
Because if you were, you'd compete against males and you would get destroyed.
The men's 100-meter record is 9.58 seconds. The women's is 10.49 seconds. there is an undisputable advantage for men in sport, isn't there?
If we talk about men being faster than women, we have to be very careful what we're talking about. So
What?
the example you gave was at the
In speed and strength.
That's exactly what we're talking about. We're literally talking about the records. That's what we're fucking talking about. This isn't you just hanging with your friends and cycling and shit. This is on a competitive level. So at the competitive level, yes, we're going to talk about the numbers because it's about the numbers. It's about setting records and the averages and everything else so you can be able to compete.
They have a 10%, 12% advantage in most scientific opinions.
At the elite level, right?
Which is what you compete at. You goddamn.
Which is exactly what you fucking. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why are you trans people that are like her? Why are y'all? Either you really are that stupid or you just think we are going to believe your bullshit and that we're that stupid. Or both.
Goober. Who are you talking to? Did you not just win a competition and a gold medal? Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? At the highest level. Yes, where you compete.
You mad man. What's wrong, bro?
She's out here trying to, pretend she's righteous when you are being disingenuous.
Yeah.
So when we look at the very best athletes in men and women, you see this
which is exactly where you compete. Again, this isn't just you hanging with your friends, racing each other and shit. This is at competitive level. This is exactly what the girl asked you. She just asked you that question. And you're like, well, if you're talking about that, well, that's exactly what she was talking about.
Like 10 to 12% gap. But if we're talking about like the average man, no, that's
when
not
we're
true.
talking about the IOC, we're talking about the elite level, aren't we?
Of course. If you look within a single sex event, the difference between first and eighth.
But she asked you about your event, specifically yours.
Eighth is very large. And the difference between first and first between sexes is often smaller than the difference between first and eighth within a sex.
What are you talking about? What are you saying? How does that even? That's not even a point. And no, the top man and the top woman, there's a gap. There's a huge gap.
Even the eighth man and the first one. There's a reason why Serena Williams lost to the 200 ranked man. It's not because Serena Williams doesn't work hard, or she's superly talented, or.
Hold on, let me catch that again.
That's not even a point. And no, the top man and the top woman, there's a gap. There's a huge gap.
Even the eighth man and the first one. There's a reason why Serena Williams lost to the 200 ranked man.
So, remember I pointed that out. You could take the best of a sport. We have women's soccer. You think those women, that dyke bitch with the pink hair, you think she could compete with the men? Do you think she could? You think? I doubt it. Seriously doubt it. She is supposed to be the best as far as, female soccer athlete. You think, because she's the best. You think she could compete with the men? Huh? I mean, fuck. Let's take the weakest. I'm a Liverpool fan, So let me see where who's in their league. Let me see. In their league. Where are the standings? Okay. Who's the Watford? Okay. Do you think the women's soccer team, who are supposed to be the best female soccer team there is, you think they could compete with Watford? They're ranked 20. They're ranked 20 in this league, in the Premier League. They are ranked 20th. Do you think that women's soccer team can compete with the worst team on this list? No, because there's a huge fucking gap at the elite level, which is exactly what we're talking about, which is exactly what the reporter is asking that fucking trans. In your sport. That's why I asked you, your sport. But you know how these fucking woke people never answer a question directly. You notice that?
It's not because Serena Williams doesn't work hard or she's superly talented or she's in the best at her sport. It's because men just have a physical advantage.
It's a different sport. Period.
Men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Because no, it's true. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game. And I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the two.
Trans athletes be like crickets because literally Serena just said that shit. Serena, top woman, a top female athlete, undisputed, literally was like, I ain't gonna play Andy Murray. He's gonna whip my ass 6-0, 6-0. She literally just said that. But trans people, y'all know y'all are full of shit. You know you are. You know you're full of shit.
So by that logic, would you not have male or female categories whatsoever?
Ooh, you tested. You was right.
I think that's a great question. I think that's a different question.
I think that's right.
Why is that a different question? I'm just curious. Like he pointed out, who are you talking to? If there's supposed to be no difference between trans people, and these are the same people that say we're all fucking equal and shit, we're all equal, then why is that a different question? So we should just, hey, come on, let's eliminate men and women's sport. Let's just have sports all across the board, just sports. Let's do it. Come on, trans people. Let's fucking do it. Because y'all know damn well you get your asses whipped.
Who are you talking to? That's a different question. Answer it.
So I think it's not fair to trans people to say, well, in order to fix whether to include you in sport, let's just radically shift how we do sport.
Isn't that what you're trying to do by competing in it? That's what you're doing right now.
That is literally what you are doing. You are literally a male transition to a female, competing with females. You are literally doing that. But you're saying that we shouldn't just eliminate men and women's sports? We should just all make it equal? You're saying we shouldn't do that? Let's back that up again, because she's a dumbass. Fucking, oh my God, you leftist, woke, fucking pieces of shit are just the dumbest people on the planet.
Who are you talking to? That's a different question. Answer it.
So I think it's not fair to trans people to say, well, in order to fix whether to include you in sport, let's just radically shift how we do sport.
Isn't that what you're trying to do by competing in it? That's what you're doing right now. Allowing you to compete is radically changing the sport. But you don't want to do that because it's not fair to you now. Oh, okay. Boo-boo, honey, chicken, cherry, chow, honey, bunny, bunch with a cherry on top. No, boo-boo. No, honey, bunny. That's where you got me fucked up. It's really some selfish about you. Don't give a shit about the sport. Don't give a shit about women. You don't give a shit about men. You just give a shit about you and you winning. That's what you give a shit about.
This study by the Swedish university, the Karolinska Institute, which I know you've read closely, it does say that there's very limited change in thigh strength 12 months after transitioning and taking testosterone suppressants. Thigh strength, as you know more than anyone else, obviously a huge thing, particularly in sport, but particularly in track cycling. Do you accept that there may still be an advantage?
Is it possible? Yes. However, the range of body sizes and strength levels within a sport, you can be successful.
Again, she asked you specifically, bitch, about your sport. She specifically asked about, that is what, 2 or 3 times that reporter has asked her specific questions to her and to her sport. And she completely just goes off the fucking rails.
With massively different body compositions, even within my sport. So again, a British example would be Victoria Pendleton. Teeny tiny skinny legs, best in the world.
The exception proves the rule. If I look at NBA players and I look at the average height of some of the best NBA players, they're pretty much all over 6'7". Every single one of them. The top 10, all of them over 6'7". Now, have there been 6 feet tall NBA players who've excelled and done extremely well? Of course, but they are a small minority. I would not look at them and say, hey guys,
That's the norm.
height is not important. We can all, of course it's important. There's a reason why NBA scouts, when they look for players above a certain size, a certain weight, because these things have a huge impact on how skilled and how good you can be at the NBA level. For her to sit there and to just make this argument.
Is it more important that trans women feel that they're included than to maintain a category within sport?
I think you're asking me, is like trans women inclusion more important than fairness in sport? But again, my point is that trans inclusion is fairness. It is unfair to exclude legal and medical women, trans women, from women's sport or part.
You are not medically the person that you claim that you are. Legally, you are not medical. Oh my God. That word, using that word really pisses me off. You are not medically a goddamn female. If I'm your doctor and I ask you a question dealing with your fucking checkup, hello, there are things that you, bitch, when you're over 50, you're going to have to get a prostate exam because you're a fucking man. There are things that affect women for the sake of them affecting women, only women. There are things that either specifically affect only men or things that affect men more often than women. So you are not medically a fucking woman. You are legally a woman, but to throw in there and medically, no, you are not medically a goddamn woman. You are not medically a woman. A woman with fake tits is still a woman with fake tits. Just because you add fake tits or take hormones to grow the mammaries bigger doesn't mean they're female mammaries. They're just male mammaries that grew bigger. That's it. Does a fat male who has big titties all of a sudden, is that a female? Oh my God. Does a fat male who can't see his penis because of his fatness mysteriously all of a sudden have a pussy because he can't see his penis? Oh my God. You are still a guy. You're still a dude. You are medically a dude. Cutting off your junk does not make you a woman. Taking hormones doesn't make you a woman. Medically, you are still a dude. You are a fucking dude. Where is this? Who allowed this? What medical conglomerate, whatever. What medical group signed off on this? Because I'm not a doctor, but that is fucking wrong and it should be outright illegal. A cat is not a dog. My cat doesn't all of a sudden identify with a fucking dog and then she's a dog all of a sudden. My dog who's laying right there, the cat's right there, but my dog who's laying right there does not all of a sudden just turn around and I'm a male dog, No, you are not changing just because if I neuter my cat, she doesn't all of a sudden become fucking a male all of a sudden. If I neuter my bitch, my female dog down there, my bitch down there, if I neuter her, it doesn't make her a male dog all of a sudden, you know? It's so stupid. You cut the balls off a bull, you know, he's still a fucking bull, you know? Jesus Christ. Oh my God, you fucking trans people, get up, y'all are getting on my last nerve. You are not, let's rewind that again. Let's rewind it again. You are not medically, you're legally female. I'll give you that bullshit, whatever, fucking whatever dumbass laws, but you are not medically a female. No.
But again, my point is that trans inclusion is fairness. It is unfair to exclude legal and medical women, trans women, from women's sport or part of society. So this is much bigger than sport in that it's the proxy for all of trans inclusion in society. Talk of bathrooms has shifted into sport by people who don't care about sport. So I think it's clear that this issue is bigger.
So look, when they talk.
Whoa, what do you mean I don't care about sports? What the fuck? Because I don't play sports, I don't care? What are you trying to say? People who don't care about sports. Obviously, we do care. That's why we're fucking talking. We do care. So I don't know what the hell that comment was supposed to be. I care about sports a lot. I care very much about sports. What, just because you compete in sports, it's only for you? So y'all don't want fans, right? Hey, NBA, NFL, the MLB, you know, MLS. Hey, she literally said, based on the way I interpreted her words, she literally said that we because we don't play, that we don't care about sports. So I guess y'all just don't want fans anymore. So I guess we're no longer going to buy your products. Guess we will no longer watch your sports because, hey, we don't care. We don't care. It's only for those who compete. Sports is only for those who compete. That's it. It's only for them. It's not for us.
About fairness, they talk about all this stuff. I'm like, yo, you guys can say whatever you want. What you guys are doing is you're destroying women's sports. That's essentially what you're doing. You're allowing males to infiltrate a place predominantly occupied by females, right? And the whole point of having female sports is to allow them a chance to shine on the big stage. And now you're going to rob them of that by allowing these people who know they have an unfair advantage to compete against them. This is trash. It's garbage. And when I said this in the other video, I was called transphobic. Apparently, it's somehow bigoted or it's hateful to say, hey, I want you to play on an evil playing field.
Well, how about you're a bigot?
Sure.
You know what? They got way more fans than I do. I mean, this was from a week ago, and it's got 157,000 views, or over 157,000 views. So obviously, way more than mine. But just like he don't care, I don't care. You can call me transphobic all you want. I'm not transphobic. I'm just not going to listen to your bullshit lies. That's all there is to it.
Sure. You know, if I don't want to see a male compete against a female in a boxing competition, maybe I'm bigoted. But you go look at the person whose skull's broken in and you tell her that's fair.
That was fair.
In the name of wokeness.
Amen. 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 I kill my own self.
Bro, you know what? When the athletes who actually compete in these areas don't want the changes that you're imposing, maybe you recognize that you as a normal person may have the wrong opinion on this topic. And look, if you guys do know any examples of transgender men who are winning at the highest level,
killing it,
please, by all means, inbox me. Prove me wrong. That's all I got for today. Leave your comments below.
I love these dudes. What is it? Abba and Preach? Love those fucking dudes, man. Because they don't play. They call out bullshit the way it is. Fucking love that. Abba and Preach. Y'all got to follow them, man. Because they're fucking hilarious. The shit they talk about, it's fucking hilarious. I'm hoping, dudes, Abba and Preach, I'm hoping to get my channel up there like you dudes. But y'all are still younger than me. So trying to grow my channel for, you know, those of my age, you know, trying to get more people my age, my race, and whatever out there. So like, share, all that cool stuff. But we'll get off of this video. I have to eat something. I'm starving, y'all. So then we'll see if I'm going to get into my next one, y'all. Peace.